I'm very excited because I'd say that we're at the halfway mark. I can see light at the end of the tunnel. We have a plan. This video is all about what I now know. Now, I've spent months and months running, analyzing, tweaking, testing, tuning, analyzing, running. I still have the stock engine. I don't have an LRP. I can't really thump my chest and tell you all how menacing my monster truck is. I can't tell you how I'm an RC guru. I don't even have a wing on my monster truck, so I can't call it a custom rig. I don't have a custom rig. I don't even have it all figured out, but I'm getting closer. I have a Savage, but I'm not content. I'm going to keep pushing, and soon, telling you guys very soon, I'm going to have a badass Savage. Enjoy the video.
You take a mortal man and put him in control. Watch him become a god. Watch people's heads roll.
I think we've reached somewhat of a milestone in that I would say we are halfway done with this read. Now, being halfway done is not in itself so much a milestone. However, if you go back to our very first video in this series, you heard me say, I will preface this entire series with one thing and one thing only. If you don't watch any further, please know this. Know why you are making changes before you make them. Don't throw stuff at it. I mean, you're paying for this stuff, so you might as well know what the expected results are. In other words, don't upgrade just to upgrade. And so now, 3 gallons later, and testing out pretty much every scenario under the sun, we know now what we didn't know before. We have 2 of our setups down pat. First, we have the extreme bashing setup. We have the on-road handling and wheelies. We've got that set up down. I've tested out, I think probably maybe 12 different pipes. Right now on it, I'm running a Works 2013. From a durability standpoint, I'd say that we've increased the durability on this maybe 70%. Again, it might not look like it. You're not seeing a whole bunch of an aluminum stuff on here. It's more about the design and the setup. So to that end, there's 2 additional setups that we have left. First one has to do with an area where it does break, probably at a 20% clip every time we do it, and that's jump. Savages do not like to jump. Certainly not like buggies and trucks. Punctured the housing here. Something obviously hit the header to cause that. And what that was, I'm 99% sure, had to be the shock tower, because it flexes quite a bit. Consequently, I've concluded that I need a completely different setup just for jumping. In other words, some of the artifacts that I'm going to employ, I probably don't want to use, like say on-road handling or bashing or things such as that. I'm only going to utilize it when we jump. And then the final setup is, we'll call it off-road track. I'm going to call it racing because I'm never going to race this thing. It's not a racer. I don't want to turn it into a racer. I want to keep it a monster truck. I simply want it to be a monster truck that performs well as a monster truck on an off-road track. Now understand, when I say setups, I'm not talking about bodies and tires and things like that. I'm really talking about the geometry of the car, like clutch setups, shock settings, the roll center, camber toe, all that kind of stuff. Ride height especially. And in some instances, actually specific parts just for that setup. So, the milestone, again, we now know what we didn't know. What do we know? Without a doubt, the biggest weak area on this vehicle are the shock towers. It took me a while to realize this, but they are the root of much of the problems. So as an example, watch me jump, truck lands on its ass, engine shuts off, and you'll see why. Look at this face. How can you not love this face? This was simply because the tower, the fact that it's nylon, or I don't know if it's nylon, it's just plastic, it flexes a lot. And I was using a different pipe that had a different plate right back here. It hit the pipe and went straight in to the gearbox, shut the engine off. So what can you do about it? Well, there's a lot of different mods that people do, and I think that they're practical, but in my case, I look at them as a last resort. I'd sooner put on the correct parts and not, jeopardize affecting anything else. But as an example, what some people do is they'll get like a tie rod, because the whole idea here is they become deformed because they flex and they go in this direction. Well, you think about it, these shocks are really intended, these towers I mean, to have 4 shocks on them, 2 on each side. So what people do, well, they'll end up bracing it on the other side. I'd rather not do that. Instead, I would rather prevent the tower from flexing either proactively and or with the new part. So first, proactively. What I'm going to do is order a pair of TBR bumpers. You can see here I put one on the rear. This is actually from another vehicle, so it's a different bumper, but it's pretty much going to be the same concept. One in the front, one in the rear. That will help absorb a lot of the impacts. These bumpers, they add weight. I'm not going to be able to run this wheelie bar with it. I'll have to get the one with the 2 wheels that they have. So consequently, the bumpers will be only for when I jump it. Next, if that doesn't fix it, what I'm going to do is get aluminum shock towers. I know many of you are thinking, oh no, he didn't. Yes, I did. I've yet to have anybody explain to me why it is aluminum shock towers are counterproductive on the Savage. The only thing I've heard is they can bend. Unless I'm missing something, so can these. As well as these, and these, etc., etc. I think you get my point. So I'm not understanding why it would be if I were to get, let's say, a monstrous CNC tower like this right here, put it on, other than the fact that we know it can bend, what other side effects are there? And I've heard people say, well, they need to flex. Well, absolutely. They need to flex in other trucks and buggies and things such as that. So, hey, I could buy a set, put them on, and first day out, they bend. It's a chance I'm going to take for sure. Because if I took this truck out as an example with some plastic shock towers, it wouldn't last 2 laps. Now, one sort of material I can tell you that won't bend is this right here, carbon fiber. So if I could find a good set of carbon fiber towers, preferably 3mm, 4mm thick, I would get that first. They will break? Yeah, okay, sure. But I can tell you, I run a lot of carbon fiber. I have yet to ever break a single carbon fiber piece. I've bent a few aluminum towers before, such as this right here, but that's when I just switch out to carbon fiber. Once again, I'll take my chances. This is not a quality aluminum piece. This right here is. Toward the end of this video, I have a little bonus section, if you will, where I ask some questions, because I would really appreciate you guys' help. But if you would just kind of stick through this video, and then the questions I think will make more sense. I've also learned that there's a huge difference between the stock servo and a ProTech 150T. Same with the throttle servo. That's 0.05. I've learned that the off and the throttle mod is really just this and this. All right, I'm not going to go through all that again. My point is, it's really just a traditional style with actuators and collars for tuning and stuff like that. Nonetheless, I'm still going to implement it. Ironically, I have all the parts. I've learned that aside from the ability to decrease your vehicle, the ride height of the Savage at least, by using internal limiters, more importantly, you can also independently set the droop between the front and the rear. That's pretty cool. This was simply because the tower, in fact, I've learned I can get a considerable amount of pack using these 4-hole 1mm pistons as opposed with the 1.5mm pistons. Additionally, I can use lighter oil, so I can still have progressive damping as well. This will be primarily for jumping. And so, as an example, what I've learned with buggies and truggies are that your shock pistons have a bigger effect on the way that your vehicle lands and how it is able to handle big jumps. Whereas the viscosity, the oil weight, is going to control more how it handles bumps and stuff going over, ruts and things like that at high speeds. Same oil weight and springs in both sets of shocks, different pistons. Tell me which one you think has smaller holes. Watch how it lands. I've learned that I'm still not good with lipos. I've learned that after 5 gallons, it's time that I went ahead and finally swapped out the grease in the differentials for oil, more for maintenance purposes. Since this rebuild began, I've tried out maybe 5 or 6 different clutches, and I'd say that the one I've had the most success with, the one that I've liked the best, at least with this F4.6 engine, has been the Mugen MBX6R clutch, along with its flywheel, nut, everything. 3 shoe aluminum, and the setup would be 2 0.95mm springs and 1 1mm. I've learned that the pins on the stock flywheel are not very strong. I've learned before I put on this Clock Novorossy 28.5 along with the 9886 41001 combination. The clutch that I will employ, I don't even have yet. And that's going to be a Buku Speed Tune composite. Don't worry, Neil, I'm not going with brass. I've learned that the transmission that came with this engine, inside the gears, everything was dry. The new transmission that I got has grease inside of it. I've learned with the extreme torque that I'll be getting with the Clock Novorossy 9886 pipe, that whole setup and the Buku clutch, that I need to go ahead and get a steel spur gear. I just don't think the plastic teeth will hold up. I've learned that the TVPs are not as bad as people seem to make them out to be. These are the original ones. I've really not had any problems with them. They are bent. One of them is bent a little bit, but I mean, they've been through hell and back. So until I can come up with something or find something that will be an improvement, I'm going to go ahead and stick with the stocks again, especially when I can get them for the price I did off of eBay, $4. I figure I'll put the other $96 into performance upgrades. I've learned that I like these adjustable upper arms here, and that the stock camber settings with the other arms, it's actually positive camber. I've learned why my rear wheel toe settings are off, even though the toe links are precise. You can see here, this one's a little bit more in than this one. You can see, maybe you can see here, right there, or actually it's right there, it's bent. So there's the reason. No worries, I have something that's coming soon that's going to fix it. And the way I'm mitigating that so that it will never happen again is I'm ordering an Alza suspension block kit for the front and the rear. That'll take care of it. I've learned that due to the flex of these bump skids right here, you can see that these plastic stops right here do not hold up. Consequently, if it occurs, it's very likely you're going to lose a pin right here. Once again, the Alza kit will take care of it. I've learned that one of the best upgrades HPI could do, I think, with the Savage truck is to implement a dual brake system so that you could set brake bias. I'm considering doing it. However, with this gearbox, the stock gearbox, I just don't know how I'd go about it. However, I am going to try. I've learned that I still don't know a damn thing about monster truck tires. Everyone kept recommending the Zombie Max tires, the Zombie Max tires, the Zombie Max tires. So I ordered a pair. Come on, man. They neglected to tell me that these are the new ones are a lot smaller. And apparently the old ones back in the day are no longer being made by Losi. Of course, leave it to TLR to keep the same name of tires, but completely different. What sucks about this is I can't even use them on a buggy because they're 14 millimeter. I've learned that these stock are not that bad. They're just not that good. However, these are the original tires and they're still holding up well. They've been run on every surface. I've learned that the Fault Line have already lost their tread after probably less than 3/4 of a gallon on street. I've learned I'm happy that I finally went ahead and put on a DSM receiver with these new servos so that I could take advantage of all the different functionality that the DX3 offers me. And finally, I've learned that as much as I love this Savage, and I love it, I recommend it to anybody, but I'm still a buggy guy. Buggies are faster, they're tougher, they jump higher, further, you name it. All right, for you Savage experts out there, here are my questions, and I would really appreciate your feedback. First, shock towers. So if anybody could recommend a set of aluminum, I know one guy, he got the GPH ones, I think. He hasn't tried them out yet. I've heard mixed reviews on them, and but I want to get the best, whatever that is. So I've heard FLM is good. I've heard IRC. The problem is I can't find those anywhere. So if anybody could just send me a link to where I'd find some FLM or IRC aluminum towers, let me know. Otherwise, I'll try the GPH ones or GPM, whatever. Better yet, if you know of anyone who can make some carbon fiber ones, let me know. I will pay to have them custom made. Platinum RC, no. I'm not going to deal with them. I've heard too many bad things. I reached out. They never got back to me. And I have talked to Dijon at Alza. He's just not interested in making some carbon fiber towers. Next for tires, I've just decided I'm just going to go ahead and get some Proline Badlands with, I guess, the Desperado wheels on them. If anybody thinks that's a bad choice, let me know. Again, go look around my videos. You see how we drive it, mainly construction sites and stuff like that. As far as gearing, again, I have no problem with plastic. I like plastic. I run it on a few vehicles, but I run steel on a few vehicles. So I'm looking at the Robinson. I want to get a 49 tooth. If there's anything specific I need to know or anything else, like a different slipper clutch or something like that, please let me know. As for bodies, when I have its off-road track set up on, I'd like to put a truggy body on it, specifically a Bulldog one. Now I have this one here for the RC8T, but I'm not sure how well that's going to fit. Somewhere around here I have a Proline Bulldog for my D8T. I just can't find it right now. But it really has to do with the forward cab design, I think. Here's one that's not. Now this right here, I mean, I could get to fit okay. This is another style, but I really like the Bulldog. But if there are any truggy bodies you guys know that would fit, I understand I'm probably going to have to take this off. That's my next question coming up. But if anybody's fit a truggy body on it, let me know. Or if anybody knows of one, let me know. I'd like to see a picture. Right, my next question has to do with roll bar. So again, I want to get rid of this. And my thinking is I'd like to have something that would actually go over the towers to protect it, right? As opposed to something here in the middle. Because if you think about it, like on a buggy or truggy, that's kind of what it is, right? So again, I would pay someone to do something custom for me, to have like 2 like plates or something on each side. If not, then I think what I'm going to do is look at that old school single bar one on the older Savages. My question is, will they fit? I think they will. If anybody has one or knows of it, let me know. Other than that, let me know what my alternatives are, because again, I don't want one like this. It's all over the place. I'd either want one single bar like here in the middle, or 2 plates that come up here. I could fabricate it myself, but I want it done right. So that's going to be it for part 10. And apologize I didn't have any running footage. It's been raining here non-stop for the past 7 days. And so next steps, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out and I'm going to jump it as is. Because theoretically, the last time I jumped it, I stripped the spur gear on it. That was because of, I put thread lock. I've never done this before in any of my vehicles, but I put thread lock on the screw shaft. And that little steel spacer, well, let's put it this way, it doesn't play well with the thread lock. So that's what happened there. But it had nothing to do really with jumping. However, I'm confident it's going to break when I jump it. I'm very confident, because like I said, I want to do 50 jumps in a row without it breaking, and I'm pretty sure something's going to happen. That's okay, because it's going to just prove out the theories or the hypothesis that I have on this. So depending on what breaks and how long I have to wait to get whatever parts to fix it, or wherever I'm at that time, I'm going to implement the throttle modification on it and continue with the jump setup. Then I'm going to get into the track setup. I've actually started on the track setup somewhat, but no point taking it to a track if you can't jump. The other part is then I'm going to do a complete teardown on it, 100%. I actually kind of did this past week, but this will be, you know, virtually every single screw. Before I put on the new engine and pipe, I want to make sure that I have my clutch and that I have my steel gearing and probably even the suspension mount kit, as well as the new roll bar. And I also want to get new tires before I throw on the new engine. I've waited this long, I can wait a few more weeks. With that said, going forward, we're officially into the performance areas of it, and that's the cool stuff. Durability, yeah, you know, you just got to work through it, and we'll continue to work through it as things occur, but now it's going to be all about performance handling, speed, all that stuff. To that end, I definitely want to keep it a Savage, because if I wanted to, I can very easily turn my Savage into this. And my final question has to do with steering throw. So, I'm wondering if anybody knows of something I can do or get a spindle or whatnot to get more throw. You can see here it's blocked. I'm not going to be able to do much with this right here. Even if the aluminum ones give me, like, if I could get maybe 5-7 more millimeters out of it, I'll go ahead and get them. Other than that, I think I've done everything I can to get more turn in and stuff like that. Again, it's just based on whatever setup I'm running. But for specific setups, there are some where I'd like to get a little bit more throw on it. A little bit more steering travel. And I can post videos, the world's most agile Savage, stuff like that. The problem there, however, it wouldn't be a Savage then, would it? Alright, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. That does look pretty damn sick though, doesn't it? I'm definitely going to go get me some right now.